5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
sync!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to TTV, episode 259. I'm Meso.
I'm Eljay.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Ben.
I'm Prpl.
I'm Tenebrae Invictus.
I'm EXX Trooper.
And hello,
Hey, here we are.
Nice.
We made it.
Here we are, just a bunch of nerds sitting.
Here we are, Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Mardi Gras.
Purple.
How you doing?
There, chilling like a villain.
So this is our second video podcast.
She has to be back there, right? She can't come closer?
Yeah.
She has to be back there?
She has to be back there.
But then it's also the very first video podcast.
Yeah.
Probably the very first video on the channel that I'm in.
You're right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I
thought you were going to say it's the first video podcast.
Yeah,
ever.
right. I was like, that's not right at all.
First video podcast ever with me in it.
That's true.
Oh.
And Prpl as well.
It's
And
instantly
Nate.
better than last year.
Yeah,
because we
Purple's
have
here
you in
too.
it.
Don't forget her.
So this is going to be talking about our experiences at BrickFair Virginia 2017. Now, as of the time of this recording, we're not over with our activities. So of course, like last year, over the coming weeks and months, we'll be like talking about our trip on and off as more stuff comes to light. But this will be primarily talking about our main experiences at the con itself, at the dinners we've been to, like food, fun activities, funny stories, just general like experiences we've had. I don't know, like how we want to start. Like we want to begin.
So, let's talk about. Can we talk about review week for a second?
That came chronologically first. So yes, explain.
Yeah, let's talk about review
Explain
week.
to our audience
Real
what
quick.
that is, and then we'll bridge into
What's-
travel. To
What
BrickFair.
is the review week?
Okay, well,
Please tell
fun
me.
fact. It's this week where we do these, what do you call them? Reviews, right? Would you say that?
Huh.
It sounds...
It's kind there's something in the name.
There's
there.
something
I
that
can't-
sounds like it. No, so we had Ben flew out a little earlier, and he came and hung out at Var's house alongside me, and we worked for hours and hours and hours every day, essentially.
Yeah, we basically spent 4 days straight creating video content and working on all that. There was barely any downtime, and when there was, it was usually just to go get food or to watch like Game of Thrones and
We did do
Rick and
that.
Morty on Sunday.
Did you guys
No,
sleep
but-
at all?
We did sleep. That's another thing
all
too.
Three in one bed, or like what?
But
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
most part of every day, we were just working on stuff. We were recording, editing, helping each other out, arranging stuff, moving stuff around Var's. What even is that room?
It's like a walk-in closet.
No, just that whole thing. 'Cause
Oh,
Var-
it's a spare
so
bedroom.
Var
It's
has
a spare bedroom.
Yeah, it's I
a
guess
spare
a spare
bedroom.
bedroom,
Yeah, no.
but we should. I guess we got to give it a name though.
Don't
the
speak
mini
of our
studio.
Don't speak of our studio
Mini
so
studio.
disparagingly.
No, yeah, I mean, like, essentially, it's like, in Rooster Teeth, they talk about being in Bernie's spare bedroom. Same
This is
deal.
what it was.
Same deal.
But we got to give it an actual. We got to give it something.
Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna call it the mini studio.
Studio room.
But that has no flow.
The studio room.
Studio Mata.
Studio closet?
Studio Mata.
That sounds kind of weird. I think we should.
The
scratch
Studio G.
No, because part of the room was
The
we
original
were working
studio.
in the closet. Like there was a point where John and I were in Var's walk-in closet, and I was building. What was I building? I was building Boost.
You're working on
But I was
Boost.
also building something else.
Oh,
I got the Wonder Woman set.
Yeah, you got that.
I was
too.
building that,
So we worked in the editing room.
and then I also built Lego Boost. And on my right, John was editing videos on his computer, his desktop computer. He actually had it set up in there. It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. And
Really
then-
work environment-y.
Yeah, it
I'm
really was.
picturing it right now. Just everyone just going.
Going, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the thing that happened.
What?
You're out of frame.
Oh yeah, Var's also here, in the background. Let's everybody give one clap to Var, our studio manager.
One.
All right, that's over. Now, so you guys did review week the week before BrickFair,
Yes, we did.
and you got a bunch of reviews for that. That are everything
Yes,
coming
we
out
did.
when? Will they be out by the time this goes up or not?
Whenever we get those videos.
We have like most. There's one that's essentially done without color correction.
Okay,
There's
so
one
that
that's
might be out
done
in
with
time.
B-roll. Yeah,
editing?
Very good question.
Pretty much everybody.
everyone's
Everybody?
editing.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, everyone.
we're all editing.
The more power, the better. I don't know if
More
Whoever-
editors-
whoever
more
wants
editors,
to.
the better. Yeah.
draw
Because
straws.
at this point, it doesn't matter. Everything that we needed to get filmed has been filmed. So it's just a matter of just editing,
So here's the
cleaning
thing.
it up.
Here's the thing
pretty
that
much.
we don't normally do. We had prelims. So essentially, what would happen is that we would these things where we would cut together at the end of every day. We'd cut together a rough draft, essentially, of what it was going to look like,
and would save it for later.
Right,
Save
and
the
then,
polishing for later.
And then we would play to each other. We would have people come in, and you could actually see what was going on with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. It sounds like it was a good experiment.
Yeah.
No, it was working out really well. I feel like it was definitely really productive. It felt very productive. Like almost every conversation was about like, oh, hey, get this and that done, or let's do this and that. We had a whiteboard set up in the room and everything to keep us on track.
I like whiteboards.
Yeah.
Yeah, whiteboards, they're good.
I don't need a
They're
whiteboard.
really good
I have
for
like notepad
productivity.
documents. That's all I need.
Yeah, we can't roll.
Seriously, that's all I use, dude. There's no sense of putting stuff on the wall. Physical's dead.
No, it's not.
Physical's so dead. You had to get Andromeda on Xbox.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you one
Let's
thing.
not bring up.
Well, no.
Andromeda.
Let's listen. We're gonna go on this for hours. Because I want to go into it too, but we can't.
All right,
we can't.
all right.
Let's move.
So you
gotta
guys
move on.
interview week, and then BrickFair started happening, and you came over. You guys drove to pick us up from the airport.
Yeah, so Vard and I drove together. John drove all the way over here.
now
we
I
picked
had
everybody
the
up.
smoothest travel experience that I've ever had. Every travel experience is mired by problems and delays and hoopla. But not only was mine smooth, but it was incredibly fun thanks to the Nintendo Switch.
Hey, yeah, my trip was pretty cool too. I had a red-eye flight, and I didn't know how that was going to go. That was my first time going about that, and I wanted to sleep on that flight. I really wanted to, but I couldn't help but get distracted by just how pretty it was to see the night sky, the clear night sky. You know, my plane was flying high above the clouds and all the fog in San Francisco, and I actually got to see what it was like past all that.
See, I got
So that was
distracted
pretty
by
nice.
Shovel Knight.
Oh, okay.
So
Distracted.
distracted. Yeah, I spent way too much money on food by the time I actually got to.
That has
BrickFair.
been this week. Has been.
Yeah.
I spent too much
Oh,
money. On
yeah,
food.
Yeah, but like even
definitely.
before, like I had $6 for a Five Guys milkshake at the airport, which was ridiculous.
I can't believe you did
Man,
that.
we
still have some ice cream we need to finish.
I had
Oh,
$12
you're right. I honestly
$12
forgot about it. We're gonna have it.
a $12 chicken enchilada, and then I found out that I had forgotten, I guess, that you can't bring water bottles like into
Oh my
the airport. I forgot.
How can
about
I
Oh,
that.
forget
yeah,
that? That's
right.
like
I,
the
They
one thing.
threw mine out, and then I had to buy another one.
No, here's the thing.
That's how they get
The
you.
TSA broke into my when I went to RTX. They broke into my my bag. They gave me the little slip that said, "Hey, read a TSA.
Oh,
broke
yeah.
your lock," and looked into it. They threw away
Wow.
They threw away like my razor. I don't know why that shouldn't do anything, but I couldn't find it. And then they also took away my hair gel. Hair gel.
Wait, was this checked or a carry-on?
Oh, it was checked. It was my baggage was a little too large.
Wait. They took your razor?
Yeah.
That's weird because my razor made it through.
Did it really?
Yeah. My
That
shaving razor,
really
yeah.
sucks, man.
Wow.
No.
I've had some mixed experiences with TSA too because I went to California a few years ago.
It's really surprising how I managed to go through TSA with so much stuff. Like last year, I brought a bunch of electronics and stuff. This year, same thing. Last year, I brought Beyblades into my
You
lunch.
still have your Beyblades?
Yeah, dude, it's surprising. Some of them are breaking.
Can
They're
I-
showing their age.
Beyblade
Can
Master
I be
Race.
can I be honest?
Yeah.
I
No.
miss Beyblades so much. I literally don't know what they look like. I know the name.
I don't need Beyblades. I have
You
fidget
don't
spinners.
remember what they
Ninjago
look like? I
spinners.
brought them when I brought them
Ninjago
last year.
spinners.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Wait, is that it? They're just spinners?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, you're like you.
We had 'em last year.
A launcher and you have a
Oh,
You know what? I thought they were in my head.
Then-
I thought they were foam swords. I don't know why. I just thought of like, I just like when
Beyblades were foam swords.
I just thought of blades and it was a toy and I thought it was a foam sword.
So what did Bay mean?
Um,
Baymax?
no, it was like
it means
a girlfriend.
it's a couple.
It's a couple of
activity.
swords. Yeah.
A couple of swords.
We had
Yeah,
a-
you know,
fighting,
you
yeah.
get your girlfriend and you just swing your blades at each other. Beyblade.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
Let
perfect.
it rip.
So I had an incredible travel experience. It was some of the best fun I've had recently, honestly, looking at the sky, playing Shovel Knight, eating ridiculously expensive food. Not all of us were that fortunate.
No, I had to wait
Same.
for
Pretty
the
much
bathroom. for the
every
longest
other
time.
person has had some difficulty on their flight. Eljay, you go first. Yours was the
Oh yeah,
worst.
go LJ, go.
So, I stopped doing work at around 6 a.m. EDT, and my flight was at 7:30 a.m. EDT.
Kind of
I just listen. I don't know. Is that really the airline's fault or?
No.
It's misfortune's fault.
Hang on.
100%.
Let's roast him when he's done.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
sure.
Fair enough.
So I get off work and immediately off to the airport. Driving to the airport, it's like a 45-minute drive, and it's like the flight leaves at 7:30. You'd figure, figure that you'd have enough time because that's still well before the flight actually leaves. So I get there and I'm flying Delta this time.
Yeah, it was your first mistake.
Yeah, I know.
I flew Delta fine.
Delta tells me, as soon as I get there, half an hour cutoff point.
They'll tell you.
See,
I couldn't check in to get my thingamabob. Half an hour cutoff point.
your first mistake was not doing it online.
Right.
Yeah, your first mistake. You always check in as soon as you possibly can.
It's
Yeah.
like, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's the problem.
Then you are very uncultured.
Travel illiterate.
That's such a big thing.
Yeah, no,
I didn't
Do
do
you
it
not
last year,
travel a
but-
lot?
No. Where do you think I go?
Yeah,
know.
who would he visit? His friends?
Where
I guess.
have you been all year long going, oh boy, I'm so excited for
But
BrickFair.
LJ, you've traveled like 3 times this past year, and
You haven't checked in once.
You
online.
travel more than me, and I did the thing.
I'll give you like an.
Congratulations. I can't do much about it now, so
But you
Yeah.
can on the way
You
back
can
home.
on the way
You
back.
can practice. You can learn,
Learn
from,
from your
it next time.
mistakes.
3 hours
Oh.
later, finally get on the plane, and the plane is, it's going. The entire time on the second leg, this child is in the other lane screaming in sheer agony.
Oh, okay, that's bad.
I thought the kid was being tortured. Like his mother's just sitting there going, "You're gonna stop crying, or else."
Did you say it's owners?
Huh?
Did you say it's owners?
No, he said mother.
Oh, okay.
No,
That would have been funny though.
same difference. But
She's here too, man. It's pretty cool.
She is here too.
Prpl's got a voice.
between that and a 4-hour layover in another airport, it was done. Finally get here like a little bit before midnight.
Yeah, we had to like drive out
Yeah.
to pick you up, but it was a whole deal.
Yeah, we had it perfectly arranged that so that we can actually get everybody at around the same time, and then that happens to LJ, and
Rose all
Whoa.
off. Yep. We're done.
Oh well, you did make it. You made it. You still made it on the first day. It was funny that like when we went to pick you up, you were like, "Oh, we'll meet you in the arrival lane." We rolled up to pick you up, and then I guess they took forever letting you off the plane. We were there for like 20 minutes, just like sitting in crowded lanes. There was like cars trying to get around us. We were like, waiting on LJ.
I told you
Waiting.
this over Slack.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets up, stops.
Mine took forever too. Mine took.
yeah,
a long
I hate it
time.
when people do that. I hate it when people get up and just stay.
Well, it's because they're waiting for the
Standing
people ahead
there,
of them,
yeah.
But the people ahead of them are basically turtles.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it's because
exactly.
they're taking their it's so stupid. Everyone stands up, and then the people in front take the baggage, and then they
Yeah.
want and
And then you just stand there.
yeah, just stand there, man.
That's why I like.
They stand there
patient.
until the people in front of them get the baggage. Like, at least get your baggage out.
super
I usually
patient.
just
I just sit
sit
in my
there
seat.
and wait.
Yeah,
for-
no, I do the same thing. I do the same
Yeah,
I
thing.
exactly.
intentionally get a seat in the back.
I'm-
when I
I'm just
can,
beyond that
and then I
anymore.
just sit down and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna wait.
No, that makes sense because you guys were gone for a real long time. I actually called up Prpl,
Yeah.
hey Prpl,
Hey.
and so I called her up
What's up?
Hi.
because I was just here alone at the house.
It took a while.
Yeah.
It really did.
'Cause we-
But
we-
it was
we
fun.
know.
I
Yeah.
mean, after that took
LJ
the
got to
train.
hold the mech dragon. It was great. On the way back home.
I
it was
swear, I
awesome.
get outside and I see your car there, and X is in the passenger
Hey,
side
what's up?
seat. Hey, how's it going? He jumps out of the car as I'm trying to put my heavy bags.
Oh,
jeez.
Tackles me. I'm like, I just gotta put my bags in the truck.
Oh god. Invi, what did anything happen to your flight? How'd yours go?
My flight was fine. I think there was more drama preceding it. Like, I got on my flight, everything went well, and while I'm on the flight,
I'll just sit.
Keep going.
it just catches on the mic. That's what.
right.
As I'm on the flight, I try to go to sleep. I fall asleep for a little bit. I wake up again. I'm like, you know what? This isn't going to work because I'm not feeling tired anymore. So I decided, I got on my phone and I bought the Wi-Fi for just messaging, like $3. I can text people and stuff like that.
It's good you did
And
that.
then around midnight, I get a text from Ven. He's like, hey, message me ASAP with your number and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, so we're probably not gonna be able to pick you up from the airport. You're gonna have to get an Uber. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, like, thanks, guys. Like, now I have to drop money.
We're
on
really tired from
traveling.
BrickFair and like all the stuff that we've done during the
It
day.
was a long night.
People
We'll say
crashed.
that.
So, all in all, though, it went well.
Yeah, it went well. Taxi ride was actually pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
cool
I-
guy.
Oh, you got an Uber though, not
yeah,
a taxi.
I've
it's
never-
a taxi. It's a
I've
taxi
never
service.
taken
It
an
is a
Uber.
form of
Oh, really?
I've
I mean,
never
that
once
was-
taken an Uber.
That was my first time, and I'm glad that it went well for the.
I don't even
20-something
know,
bucks.
is Uber like regional?
No.
Is it nationwide?
It's
everywhere?
It's not just nationwide. It's like globally.
Nationwide.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not everywhere. Don't get me wrong.
I don't
It
think
is
it's
not
in Norway, Sweden, or
everywhere.
Denmark.
Well,
but it is
that's
a
what I meant.
global
like,
company.
Will my middle of nowhere town have it?
There
Yes.
are
Well, kind of.
maybe,
If anybody
because-
signs up.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
possible,
yeah.
but there are certain cities that do actively exclude.
I'll look into it. Because, I know
true.
that.
No, I mean here's the thing. So like my town doesn't. My old town in Illinois doesn't have it. The town I live in Virginia just got it. A lot of times it depends on both the market of drivers. Because drivers have to sign up and they have to be there. And if you're in the middle of nowhere, you probably don't because there's not a lot of drivers coming out to that area. Although you might be able to find some. So I can't guarantee you one way or the other, but that's probably what it is.
Okay.
To be an Uber driver, you need to have drivers around, obviously, to take you somewhere.
Totally.
And so
X,
They
you
were
had an
normally
international flight. How'd that go, dude?
Well, I travel a lot, and my dad is also a person that travels a lot, so I sort of get in the whole travel mood thing where it's just autopilot, because traveling is a lot of waiting, a lot of not doing anything, but it is exhausting on the mind because you're always keeping track of time, everything on you, etc. And everything really actually went well for a pretty long time. Like I was just, like I said, I was in this whole mood thing that like we're driving here, we're taking a plane to America. And I mean, I have the TV thing, which is amazing, by the way. I love that. That only is a thing when I travel to America, but I think that's more with the size of the planes and them going so far. But as soon as I land, we get out of the plane, and like actually on the plane itself as well was really cool in that I wasn't assigned a seat. And so when I got what my dad said is that you just walk up to them and just be like, hey, just say that you could get a seat with like the window or whatever or anything. Like I go up to the lady and I'm like, hey, I don't have a seat. And before I can spit out another word, she says, okay, well, we'll assign one to you. Like, here you go. And I'm just like, okay. And then I actually got a seat in, I don't know, it's not business class, but the one before that. Or something, and it was really fun, and
That's nice.
yeah,
Nice.
because we got free drinks of a variety, so I got it was fun.
I got
That's
free
good, yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Cool.
Yeah, I got something else, but
Sprite.
moving
Root
on.
beer?
But until when I landed though, and we got out the plane, then first of all, I was right outside. I was right where the door is, where I can just walk outside. And when we got out there, then we need to like stop, wait on a bus for really long. And it just gets to me right away how hot it is in this country. It was like I didn't even put that in mind because I was like, I'm not going to Spain, but it's literally exactly like going to Spain.
Right.
And after that bus ride, that's where I had to stand 3 hours in line.
Holy cow.
To get through, I don't know what it's called. It's
Customs.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hoopla looking for you.
Yeah. Every one of you guys. Just,
We weren't sure how to contact you because of your international.
there was no way
number.
because we couldn't. You can't use your phone.
We
in that
made
line.
contact through Discord when you got off
Yes.
customs, but we were like, I didn't really know where to go to wait for international flights. We had a similar issue with FWEF last year. I eventually found it. I'd been in the complete wrong place waiting for you, so I was panicking. I was like, what if he got off and I didn't know where to find him, and now he's lost, he's roaming around and doesn't know where to go and can't call anybody, so I was flipping out. I finally found where you were going to come out at. I waited there for like half an hour, just looking, staring into the crowd. Then I finally got sick of waiting, and I did what I should have done to start with, and I went up and asked the guy, hey, so this flight number that we're waiting for, is it gonna arrive soon? Or is it already arrived? And he said, no, they're still in customs. So I went back and I waited 25 minutes, went back, they're still in customs.
Yeah, and the funniest thing though is that the second I got out of customs and got my luggage. By the way, for those 3 hours, I just looked at my luggage just go round and around, teasing me that like,
Yeah,
hey,
right.
you
It could be your luggage, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I used to like not get why people had such a brightly colored luggage. Now I totally get it.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
why I
You
got
can
that.
find it.
ugly
Yeah,
green.
easy.
I want to get like skulls on my luggage.
Of course you do.
But as soon as I got out of customs, I call Eljay.
Yes.
That's the guy I call.
The guy who wasn't there.
Yeah.
He calls me, and I'm still sitting in another airport. In my 4 hours.
Hey, where are you, man?
I answer the phone. It's like, Huh, I don't recognize this number and it's Norwegian. Hello? Whoa, whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had made contact at this point. Everybody but John had gotten there, and we were waiting for X at a Starbucks.
I went right past that Starbucks. That's the first thing I saw when I got out there.
Yeah.
And
So you ran into the Starbucks, and you promptly, just like with LJ, you tackled our table, and you knocked over Vin's drink. And
I was a bit excited.
And you started screaming and just belting out in the Starbucks.
It was
It was very small. It was very calm, like a coffee shop. You know, and X just barrels in there with this huge green luggage, like knocking over stuff.
What's up?
My God!
It was a great entrance.
You're like
it was a great
King
entrance,
Kong,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, I went crazy, dude.
It was really, really
Everybody
funny.
was giving you the funniest looks too.
I didn't care, dude. I was so in it. I get to see like my friends.
No, that was
great.
awesome, dude.
It was awesome.
No regrets.
Yeah,
experience.
it was fun, but like,
You jumped me as soon as I got there.
You
So
did.
I came
Yes.
behind. I was behind you two. I actually
You
had
like bear hugged him.
Okay, here's
Yeah.
the deal. Real quick. This is my travel over. I did have something too that went terribly wrong. Yeah, remember this? I nearly died on my way over. So I'm driving in
Unfortunate.
my car, and there's a semi truck in front of me. And you're going like on the highway, you're going 70, 80 miles an hour in between that, right? And I'm driving right behind the semi truck, and literally out of nowhere, the rear tire like explodes. And like debris like shatters, it's all over my windshield, and the semi swerves, and I swerve to the left. Fortunately, and I don't know if like it was just instinct or if I quickly checked the left. Fortunately, there was no car in the left, so I was able to swerve around the semi and not get anything. But that was super close. That's possibly the closest I've ever come to dying.
It's really bad, dude.
That happened to my younger brother once.
Yeah, it's a thing. It sucks because it's not even like two people. It's not like I could have done anything to change that, or the semi driver could have done it.
yeah,
it's just
that's something you
unfortunate,
just
right? You can't control.
Could have been really bad.
So that could have been a Final Destination kind of deal, or this, but it's interesting that like that they came that close, and there was nothing I could have done about it. If a car had been in the left, that would have been a whole
insane.
different conversation we'd be having right now.
Most definitely. So we got X. We got these guys. We met up. We got Eljay later in the day, and we came to our house, and it's really
It was a
great.
nice house.
dude, this
Three
house
stories.
is amazing. I was picturing like really small, cramped everything, but it's 3 stories.
3 stories, man.
and so many. Like, how many double beds is there here?
There's 5 beds,
There's
right?
2 double beds and
2 regular beds, and then a giant couch.
Huge couch.
This
Yeah,
couch
that
is
couch
We've
is
gigantic.
spoken a lot about our
pretty
BrickFair house
long.
last year and how awesome it is. This year we don't have air hockey and we don't have a bear.
It's true.
So
we don't have the
Rick Bear,
amenities,
Rip
but
Freddy
like
Wop was. Yeah.
and that one did technically have 3 stories too. It had the
Freddy Wop.
basement, had the normal floor, had the
It
upstairs.
did, but this house is very nice. It feels a lot more spacious. I love the
Very
atmosphere.
roomy.
It's very
Yeah.
roomy, very calming.
Very cheap.
I feel like
Very cheap. It was
Much
half,
cheaper.
It was half the cost.
I feel like we don't spend enough time in here.
Yeah, honestly,
Like, it's been such a busy week. Pretty much every day we've been going to BrickFair thus far. Actually, I don't think there's been a day since we got everybody together where we haven't gone to BrickFair.
Totally. And
For
speaking of BrickFair,
a while.
I'm jumping the shark a little bit, but I am curious because we have Prpl over here,
What's up?
way in the background. She had her own travel adventures. She also went to BrickFair with us. And we might not have her for the full duration of this podcast, so pardon me for breaking chronology, but I would like to get your take on not only the travel that you had in the BrickFair, but also just meeting the fans and doing everything with BrickFair.
Do you want to switch?
You want to like get in the camera here for a minute?
just for a minute. Hey,
Come on over.
Here's what we can do. You can take your phone and do your selfie while you're talking to that. See? Yeah. Do like a.
In comes Prpl.
Oh, here she is.
Hey.
Face reveal.
How you doing?
Yeah.
What's up?
Check Twitter. You haven't seen my face yet, but I'm good. Basically, on the way here, I had to drive. Well, my mom drove like 10 hours.
So you
to
didn't
get
drive
up.
at all.
Yeah, I didn't drive at all. Thank you to my mom.
Shout out.
Props to your mom.
I had to drive like 10 hours all the way here, just like continuous. It was definitely a journey. Very, very boring. Very bizarre.
I bet you're looking forward to the ride back.
Why bizarre? What's bizarre about car ride?
I don't know. It was like I wasn't expecting mountains because like where I live, it's like very flat. But then all of a sudden there were like all these mountains. Like whoa!
Virginia has a
like,
lot
So
of
the
mountains.
change in scenery was just like
yeah, it was like
really
freaking,
unexpected.
Like 3,000 like feet above sea level. It's like whoa. Plus it was raining when we were going through the mountains, so that was
Was that scary?
a little bit. We were kind of hydroplaning down.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
yeah.
that does sound pretty scary.
Yeah.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Hey! I tried 3 different.
No, I know. I was like,
signals.
at some point,
John
you just have to
picked
do
up
it.
on every single one.
I was thinking the exact. We're on the
eye
wavelength, dude.
contact.
We got this. We got this whole deal.
Just tell me to like go.
I'm
into the
pretty
mic.
sure that microphone's cursed.
So Prpl, how was it interacting with BrickFair?
Dude, it was so much fun. It was like so cool seeing like fans and stuff. Like I wasn't expecting to like, I don't know, be cool to meet, but people actually walked up to me before like any of you guys were here. And
You're
they,
very recognizable.
well, yeah.
You were all in purple.
You're
Still
the second
all in
most
purple.
recognizable besides like Eljay with the mask. You have your,
You know,
like,
I'm
own-
really happy that you got to meet Sage.
Yeah, no, she was there last year.
That Sage, finally. And dude, she was so happy to see me. I swear we hugged like 4 times, and I can't talk. Wow. She like dyed her hair as like this like teal and dark purple or something. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty, and she gave me so much art.
She grew up.
Yeah.
She
got
gained a couple.
taller,
She gained a
though.
couple
Yeah.
of inches. Yeah.
She looked
Thank
like a
you for
character.
coming.
I did
from
not
one of your
recognize her
comics.
at first.
That's
That's the
no,
first
you're
thing I
totally
thought.
right. You're
I
totally
was
right.
like, is she here with Purple?
Right.
Because she literally like came straight out of your comics. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Then I was
I
like,
could make her a comic character if I wanted
She's
to.
gonna hear that.
And now you have to
oh
do it.
no, you.
No,
Give her a
man.
little cameo.
Just a little cameo in the background, shenanigans of it.
In character. Good to know.
Yeah. But thank you for like meeting me and like stuff.
Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
coming.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
I did what I could do.
Thanks to all the fans for coming. By the way, that was really cool.
The fans this year were absolutely outstanding.
A lot of
Fans were great
fans.
this year.
A lot of
Here's the
fans.
thing I really loved about this year. We got a lot more art this year, and I love that.
I got so much stuff.
Yeah, dude, I got like people took the time to draw stuff based on like our interests and stuff we talked about and like small jokes we made in the podcast. and
Yeah,
I
someone
love
drew
that.
me Star Wars. I
Yeah.
did not expect
Dude.
that. I got
Right.
Darth Maul, dude. That was so cool.
I got the coolest thing. This is from Kalenda over at the BCC, and believe so.
That mask
And-
is pretty cool, man.
It's great. I love this. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
frame
that
it.
is a really cool sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Her and her sister Elena showed up, and they were just so excited, and they gave me this. I love it. It's so good. The art is awesome.
No,
You
yeah.
should draw like to the fans. You guys should draw more art for next year, assuming we go.
No, I mean like definitely the getting. I mean, it is really great to meet people, but like knowing that we've inspired people to do this kind of creative effort is
Give us stuff.
There was one.
Like stuff.
Yeah,
I like
that's
stuff.
Purple's motto.
Free stuff is nice.
Free stuff
stuff
is
very
nice.
nice.
I really like it.
Comics.
there was just like one piece of art though that just like somebody pays attention to what I say on the message boards or something because
Okay.
there's a movie that I really like, Akira, and I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the podcast or anything, but I've posted about it maybe 3 times total on the message boards. Somebody gave me a freaking picture of a character from Akira. It's like, what the heck?
I didn't know that. That's cool.
That's
That'd
attention
be
to
my day
detail
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's stalking me or stalking all of us.
That's the
but
new
props
TTV
to them.
fan standard.
We tried to do a thing where we would have people come behind the booth and like take a photo of us and come out, and very quickly we just discarded that. We're
Yeah.
just like, that's not working at all.
Yeah,
There's way
it
too many
was not
people.
working.
Yeah.
Cube, and we
To
just-
be fair, we didn't get a lot of room.
Yeah, I mean,
there was a crowd there, dude.
there was a crowd. I do think that like in the future we might have to like talk with the people at BrickFair beforehand to make sure that, because I don't want to like obstruct the.
I don't
the
know
thing.
if we're right up there.
No, I know.
just
Listen,
yet,
I'm not. I'm
you
not
know?
saying.
I mean,
I'm just
it
saying.
doesn't,
Like,
it doesn't matter. We can still.
I'm just
put
saying
in
that, like,
effort
yeah,
to
it's
get
we
that.
could just have well communication, saying that, hey, we just need a bit of, we just need this little space that people can go in and out of, and this, but
We were obstructing a whole.
we were
hall.
obstructing like the column
Yeah.
bit, and I felt kind of bad
Yes,
about
I
that.
think some people went past and they just didn't know what was going
Yeah,
on.
I mean,
What's going on
well,
here?
because we
Who are these guys?
We
These days.
when we did our thing, we were at the side and we weren't in front of our own section. Is one thing we can't see, but we're kind of blocking other people's views of other people's creations. That was the only thing I was like.
I will say, going off of like free stuff is cool. Free stuff is really cool this trip because
boy.
everything has been so expensive.
Yeah.
Like this Brick Fair. Okay, first of all, there weren't a lot of vendors as much as last year. I feel like last year had a greater... Yeah, I feel like last year had a greater variety of vendors. I don't know. It felt like it was a bit more open this time. Like, there wasn't a lot...
We talked about this. I actually do think the spacing was a lot better. I don't think there was less people or that there was less stuff, but the spacing was way better. But it did give the illusion that there weren't as many people as it was last year. Last year felt very crowded and almost like claustrophobic sometimes.
Last year when I was buying stuff, like, sure, there was still expensive stuff, and I told myself that I was going to hold off, and that if, when we decided that we were going to go again this year, I started telling myself, all right, well, whatever I didn't get last year, I'm going to get this year for sure. I'm going to have the money for it. That money was basically split up between that money.
And here we have R on the piano.
That money, it was a lot of money, but a good half of, at least half, was spent on food, and I feel like I am now broke because everything I bought at BrickFair was so expensive. Like $20 custom minifigures.
Most went for 25, dude.
Here's the thing.
That's crazy.
Do not get me wrong. I think that custom minifigures, people do them very talented, and it's a lot of work and a lot of effort. This is just me as a consumer. $20 is just too much for me to afford more than one.
Yeah,
you didn't really want that minifigure.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I did make a couple of those purchases because I mostly wanted to bring home gifts for my friends, and there weren't a lot of other better options than to get minifigures. Like,
minifigures everywhere, dude.
Like, one minifigure I got that was $20 was this custom clone trooper, and it really was one that LEGO hadn't come out with. I believe it had a different mold for the helmet too. It was from,
they make custom
from Clone
molds.
Army Customs.
Yeah, he is all about like, he's been around for a very long time, and he has been making stuff that LEGO has never made and still don't make. So
I got that, and I got myself one too because why not? I told myself, hey, just have fun, go all out, don't hesitate too much. Needless to say, I still did hesitate a lot. There's a point where I found like these two really cool Spider-Man minifigs that I wanted, but they're both, again, $20 each. And they didn't look $20 each. All they really had was custom printing. There wasn't any custom mold or anything like that. It was kind of ridiculous.
I totally get that where it's like a thing where, obviously, it's art, right? And the art is valued at what people are going to buy for it. It's just for me, like, as as one individual, sometimes when I'm looking at something and I'm like, is this worth $20 to me right now? A lot of times with minifigures, it's not always there.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's great the work that goes into it, but $20 is just too much for me.
Well, it's more about the thing that, like, making custom minifigures is a lot of trial and error. And there's a lot of it takes a lot of time to get all this printing and stuff done. It's like when you see on that perspective, of course, but it's more about like all the time that's put into it and all the effort into that, because like if you're gonna make these in bulk, then you're gonna have to have the right colors that LEGO has made, and depending on where these are from, it's going to have different rarities. So, for example, if you're making a minifigure and like there's one, like most of the minifigure is just normal parts, etc. But if it's like a helmet or something that's only in one minifigure, there basically needs to be a profit for all the time spent into it.
Totally true. And I know
I would understand
no one is like trying to come off the saying like that it's not worth it.
I need to defend.
No, listen. I totally listen.
Dude.
X does great work. He brought some of his stuff here for his thing. We're gonna.
Now I am curious, Prpl, in the realm of custom minifigures that we're talking about. Are you interested in have you bought any so far? Because BrickFair is separated into MOCs and vendors. I'm curious what you've bought, if anything.
I actually haven't bought that much. Like, you guys kept telling me to save up all this money for BrickFair, but I barely spent like $10. I just bought like some custom like pieces and stuff. Yeah, because like
custom pieces.
Yeah, they were like dragon wings and stuff.
So Brick Warriors. Brick Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I didn't see those actually. Man,
it was like in the middle.
Probably for the best.
They're actually $1 for a pair, I think. $1 or $2 for a pair. They're really Brick Warriors are really good because of how they do stuff in bulk. So Brick Warriors is probably the cheapest one on the market right now in terms of the customizers, because they have just a very flat rate of just $1 or $2.
I wish you were just with me the whole way through.
Yeah,
we were actually going to be
for a bit. Then you ditched me.
No, you
ditched us for your other friends.
No,
X legitimately has cool new friends. Oh no, put this on the record.
They're not new though.
They're older than that.
They're
than we are.
8 years.
Yeah. They're way older than us. Well,
So
like
you didn't buy too much, but like you did go around the con, and like I'm curious, did you have any like standout mocks or any like really cool things that you'd like to call attention to? before you have to
Basically,
make
if
your
it
exit?
had a dragon, I probably loved it. So
There were numerous dragons.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I looked over like at the BIONICLE table and there was like this dragon that was like really black and purple. I don't know if you saw that because that seemed like a really cool mock. You know, whoever made that.
See that.
Oh, I
must be
saw
really good.
that.
That was a
Loved it.
little.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's-
Ben, can I have that?
It was all right. It was all right.
What are you talking about? I didn't make that. It looked like crap. You think I would
Can I
actually
have
make
that?
something that terrible?
It was not terrible. Shush.
it's
So
a
overall, as a package, how would you rate your BrickFair experience, Prpl?
how many bricks out of 10?
It was a lot of fun. To be honest, I think just the one day is enough for me. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm very introverted, but just going
You're
around
very
for, like,
introverted.
I'm very introverted.
And purple.
Indeed,
And
that
purple.
too.
It's very true.
But yeah, just the one day was enough for me. Just like the couple hours there.
Oh yeah.
If you're not like hardcore into like custom minifigures, then I guess you don't need a lot of like spending money. But overall, it was fun.
All right.
Oh,
Well, thank you very much to our special guest, Prpl. I think you have to make your exit now.
Yep.
Oh, bye, purple.
So I will take my spot back. Let us give her the one solitary clap in 3.
That is really weird. That clap.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Because we can't applause, we'll break out the audio.
We say farewell. She's just going back to her normal spot.
I mean, you know, on the bright
That's her
side,
normal
we,
spot, leaving. But for parents, they're yeah.
Totally right.
Busted
But it was
myth
really-
today.
What was the myth?
She's not a dragon.
I know, right? I was shocked.
No, dude, I've read the comics. She's
Yeah,
not a dragon
listen.
right now.
Yeah, dragon.
But she turns into them, right? Exactly.
See?
Well, thank you a lot for coming on today, Prpl, and I know all the fans loved seeing you for the first time.
Yeah, we actually got our frappes.
We did get the frappes. Check. Yeah,
Have a good
we got
one,
a great
Prpl.
tweet.
Well done,
Bye,
man.
purple. Have
See
a
ya.
good night.
And
Back
Prpl
up.
was never seen again.
Purple.
So,
And
yeah.
that's the last.
Custom
Stop.
minifigures.
Hey.
Yeah, but seriously though, because if you look at custom minifigures, because like essentially they're
That
basically
purple girl, though, right?
Hey.
Hey, it's
How's it going?
Going,
Decided
everybody.
to join the party. Look
Special
at
guest
that.
star Var has now entered the fray.
Special guest bar.
Hey man, how did it feel not doing the sync?
How did it feel to what?
Not doing the sync, like you didn't do the countdown. Yeah. Yeah. No, Meso was the one who did the sync
Oh,
at
that's
the beginning. You know what I'm talking about?
I thought you meant like if somebody drops out.
I thought you meant like
Yeah,
I thought you
or,
meant
whatever.
like using the sink to
I
wash
get
your
what
hands.
you mean. You were a sync spectator.
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you think of the sink? Did
What
you
do
have good
you-
like hand
Actually,
soap
we do
for
have a
that?
cool sync.
That is
too.
that is
We
a
do
cool
have a
scene.
little-
We do have
Yeah,
a really
definitely.
cool sink. I really like
It
that
like
sink.
comes at the top.
So
Like-
okay, it's like it's cut open at the top, so like you can see the water coming
a
out,
waterfall.
like a waterfall kind of.
It
It's really
inspired me to create a new series,
cool. Okay.
Ven's Sink Spotlight, where I just
Yeah.
review sinks and their architectural.
I'd watch it.
design.
yeah. What
Careful,
are
you
like
might,
what are all the bullet points?
You might start offending some sync creators, though.
Oh, we'll get into that in another video.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Well, actually,
Stay tuned.
it'll be
Yeah,
later.
yeah,
It will be
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
No, because I'm thinking like, which is gonna come first, the podcast or the video? But it's probably gonna be the
It's
podcast. so-
Probably we'll see.
Anyway,
How was it
minifigures.
walking around the convention without your?
What is that? What did you see? Did you see what he just did?
It's a bit.
I'm a crush.
Is this,
you
are you a
little
bit? Are you on a bit right now? Okay.
Are you on a bit right now?
A bit of what?
Bits.
A little bit of.
A little bit of this.
A little bit of. What's it called?
I did want to say one more thing about the minifigures. Okay,
Go
I
on.
got
Meso, how
I got
was your experience
this,
walking around the convention?
It was great.
I got a custom tracer minifigure.
I mean, if I got, if I'm gonna show off my
The
stuff,
custom tracers.
Punisher.
No, what I was gonna say is, this little guy is a typical military dude. He was cheaper than Tracer.
Yeah.
I don't believe I paid more than $20 for this guy. Tracer by itself is $20, and overall, this is the better minifigure, just in terms of quality, detail.
Appearance,
In terms
build.
of the
Appearance.
No, I like. Okay,
Thumbs
okay.
up.
Here's the thing. We did talk about the. I like this. I like the Overwatch minifigures a lot. I like. I think like the design. The thing that got me here was like the texture on the leggings. There's like if you look closely at them, you actually can see the texture. On them.
Yeah,
So I thought
yeah.
it was.
They did the
It's inaccurate.
yeah.
Have a brown coat.
That's the issue with like the color on the torso is a little off.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
color
know
on
if
the
you can do
torso
it.
is way off.
Can you print like that? Is there a color like that?
Yeah, you can print on brown.
No, I mean like is there a color that matches what she has in game that
Probably
brown.
But I mean,
You could just use brown.
You could work
Well,
with
It doesn't have to be 1-to-1,
right?
but still
Not like
using
mahogany.
just using like a brown or like a light or dark flesh or whatever would have been better than what is this like sense.
Silver.
X, what do you have to
It's
say?
not silver. It's like
let's consult the expert right here,
So
guys.
it's really
it's
fun.
like a dark tan. It's dark tan.
Are we talking about the color now, or
Yeah,
we're talking about
the
this
color.
entire thing as a whole. Let's go for it.
this
Go
is
for it.
funny listening to Ven talk about this stuff because Ven, you build MOCs, BIONICLE, etc. What you're actually doing right now is that you're developing an opinion on vendors because that is a huge thing. Because there is, all right, right now you have that's from Citizen Brick.
Yes.
Citizen Brick is, if you don't know, they're very known for like making stuff that is kind of like novelty. That it's sort of like they make something exactly the way Lego would do it.
Most of their stuff was militaristic stuff.
Yeah, they make stuff that Lego doesn't make, but they make it so to look pretty much exactly like how Lego would do it.
Right.
You know, Eclipse Graphics. This is from my boy Vic. Shout out. He is a bit more on the stylization part, and
Right.
he also I know him for a fact. He also uses Adobe Illustrator as well, and these are vector graphics. And if you don't know what vector graphics are, it's a type of graphic with a program in which you can stretch and minimize any size that you want, and
No
it will not-
pixelization.
no
Pixelization,
pixelization,
right. It's
Not
all
whatsoever.
yeah,
math,
so essentially
yeah.
it is uncontested the best thing for drawing vehicles nonstop and done, etc.
uncontested.
Yeah.
Other sellers got bested.
Yeah, and so also a thing also to put in mind here with these two different minifigures is that minifigure was made from loose parts that you chose yourself. And let's see, all the parts in that, those are tan torso, tan legs. Those are pretty widespread, really easy to get hold of. Then you have the custom parts, which are all from Brick Arms, except for I think the knife as well is also from Brick Arms. And a lot of these vendors, they get really like good deals with Brick Arms in terms of getting their weapons and stuff. So sometimes it's even cheaper to get custom parts from
Brick
these
Arms.
other vendors,
Interesting.
because the biggest problem with minifigures always is bulk. It's easy to get one minifigure, but if you want to have 50 tracers, then you're going to have to get a hold of that hair in a good condition. You're going to have to get dark tan, and you're going to have to get these from
That's funny you mentioned that, because the other day we were talking about how there's this different hair mold for minifigures that we thought would work better for that, but it probably isn't as common.
Absolutely.
as
That's
that
the
hair
thing.
piece,
That's
and that
the
made-
right,
that
that
made
makes sense.
a lot of
It's brand new. It came out in the Ninjago set, so you can and like it's a collectible one.
Didn't really? When did it come out?
It came out sooner.
It came out in the collectible minifigures, like wave 9, 10-ish.
Handy. Well, there you go. Even still, it's not as.
It's still not as
commonplace.
It's recent-ish, but it's
So-
because this hair piece is so common because it was in Ninjago.
Main character.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Full bit.
all over the place.
That's
with Ninjago.
interesting to me, thinking about like how. So like that is something I didn't think about, is how do you get certain parts in bulk, and how do you make them available to be sold? Because you're right, you can't just like, it's not like they print on stuff it was already made, so it's not like they can go and like just print out their own piece and then print on it. It's like they have to find it, buy it from someone else, print on it, and then resell
And
it.
sometimes those pieces are not completely not available without printing, and so the cost goes into a lot of time in terms of like brassoing off the print itself on the Lego figures themselves. Like you can use nail polish. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but basically the biggest thing with minifigures every single time is always time. It's very small, and so like it's really weird because it's like at first glance it's so hard to justify such a purchase, because it's Lego and you look at a minifigure and it's $20, and that you're like, you could get a set that has 3 minifigures.
No,
Right.
It's everything that you're saying right now that, sure, I didn't take it into as much consideration, but I had a feeling in the back of my mind, like, yeah, there is definitely a lot that goes into this price, and that's why I was actually in the end willing to pay for it. Because I'm sure that there was something to justify all that, and
Same.
there it
I
is.
got $15 Punisher, and I'm pretty happy.
I
Plus,
got $20.
I'm not mad at this tracer. I still actually really like this tracer minifigure. It could definitely be better, but for what it is, I like it.
Yeah, Vic's going for he's trying to get like with Overwatch, he wanted to get like a sort of anime art style that like reflects the game a lot better because like the thing.
Yeah, I think it works because
Yeah.
I tried picturing that with like the normal minifigure
normal
style.
minifigure
I don't
face,
think
right.
it would.
because there's a
be
lot
as
of
effective.
character in all the details with the Overwatch characters,
Yeah.
down to like the color of their.
Yeah, the way he
clothes,
did the
etc.
eyes on this is really nice.
It's
Yeah.
way better than the Clone Wars eyes.
Oh god.
I didn't like. Do you like?
Yeah,
Clone Customs.
No. Like the
like-
actual Star Wars, the
Oh,
Clone
yeah,
Wars
yeah,
sets.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Those are
talking about?
based on the
Those are
show.
Those are creepy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So
I-
this
really
is
bad.
basically that's the successful way.
Yeah, it's a
I
successful
would
way
say.
to do it. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
But yeah, I would say that like the thing with minifigures and all that, this is also. I mean, Lego is a non-essential product. Basically, you can live without it. So it always like no matter. I can talk hours upon hours about like all these different parts about customization, etc., and all that. But it all comes down to how much do you want it, you know? Because
True.
if you want Spider-Gwen figure, you know, you can get that from this guy over here, and it's like super high quality. It's like
It's really expensive.
but it's also really expensive. You can also go home and you can like draw with like a Sharpie.
Yeah, exactly.
et cetera,
I can-
et cetera.
you're right,
So it all
right.
comes down to like how much do you really want this, and etc. But
Yeah, I think you brought it really home when you're doing custom stuff. We have a lot of vendors here that are doing their own thing, right? They're using Lego and creating their own thing on top of it. And what it comes down to is exactly like I don't know the exact prices that go behind it and like how much profit they make off each minifigure, but it is a thing with consumer products where you design. There's definitely an audience that you design for. And there's a
Yes.
huge audience there that loves these things, especially military. I've heard
military is the
huge.
biggest market by far. It used to be clones, it used to be Star Wars, but Brick Arms, they revolutionized that. They showed that like you can have a really nice medium between it looking very realistic in terms of like the weapons themselves, but they also look Lego. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
it's
also
very
yeah, 'cause-
high quality. Even the plastic that they use for the brick arms. It's like
the over time, like the very first Brick Arms they have like a bunch of like sharper and weirder edges, and like over time, Will Chapman, that's the guy he's actually developed and like made these molds so like they're very like shiny.
Yeah.
So they look he's mimicking basically.
yeah, they
Lego
look
space.
exactly
They look
like
exactly
they
like
were
that,
made
right,
by
right.
Lego.
He puts a lot of time.
Well, military is so interesting because it is on. It's a generic theme in the sense like it's not like with Overwatch. You're taking an actual design of a character. If she doesn't look like Tracer, then like we talk about it. We'll be like, oh, this doesn't look accurate. This is there's no official 100% official like this is the you can look at Captain America minifigure and be like, oh, this costume doesn't measure up. But this is really realistic, and they can kind of they can take the design variations and do everything with it that they want to. And military's the one thing that Lego's never going to get into. It goes against everything their
that's
brand
a-
values.
yeah.
That's why it's so valuable as a thing because Lego is never going to get into this market, and there's a huge demand for it, and there's never going to be an
Yeah,
official
and that's
supply.
why Brickmania exists, for example.
So it's actually Brickmania. I've heard the name before. People in our audience might not be familiar with it. Kind of talk about that.
Right, Brickmania is essentially a company started by a guy named Daniel, and it might not just him. I think it might be some friends of his, but I know it's not just him now. And he essentially started off just having like cardboard boxes where he made his own instructions and like short story. He makes military kits. He like makes every single like with Lego exactly. They make like creator sets. They'll make like a car, a dinosaur, etc. Brickmania, they will make a German tank from World War II.
Yeah,
They will make
I
a
noticed lot
German
of that.
prototype tank from World War II. They will make a specialized tank that only there existed maybe like seven
It's so
of.
unfortunate because I saw those builds and I really liked them, but they're so
Yes, that's the
I
thing.
couldn't- I
It all
couldn't do
comes down because these.
like I can't get a Jeep without shelving. I mean, not shelving. That's not the right word. What am I trying to say?
Shelling out.
Yeah.
Shelling. There it is.
Yeah.
Shelling out like $60.
comes down to the thing again with Lego minifigures and stuff. It's time. He
Yeah.
needs to find all these parts individually on Bricklink in good conditions. He needs to print and make all these instructions and make them like it. It's really hard to make instructions that are easy to follow. Like the work that the work that Lego puts into to making the instructions seem as easy as possible for anyone. And on top of that, the stuff Brickmania does is some of the stuff is very overcomplicated. There's some unorthodox techniques, etc. But like it's definitely for a very nerdier audience, I guess, because if you're into tanks, you're guaranteed to like there will be like, because he's made so many different tanks. Like I am not super into it, etc. But like he's made basically any military tracked vehicle of any kind, basically from modern to World War II to like the very first tank there was and airplanes. He's got everything.
So this is actually really interesting to me because we had this discussion recently about the collector's market, because we were talking about the value of the BIONICLE art book essentially, and like how much. And it's interesting now that now that you're talking about this is essentially, it's like, the same thing that we were talking about with like a collector's market and how much people are willing to pay for and how much that's worth. It's that, but on a like where you can create your own collectible almost, right? It's like that thing where it
literally says the custom minifigures premium collectible minifigure.
Yeah, exactly, right. So that is actually, that's really fascinating to me. It's fascinating that like there's a set price for this. Obviously, the time and effort goes into it, and that's all part of the thing. And there's people that are like willing to really invest into it and kind of have that thing kind of buy these figures and buy the tanks and buy these things and be super.
Not to
go on, Bar.
Did he just? Okay. Not to cut the conversation short, everybody. We lost Eljay. Also, we are currently at the 50-minute mark, and we are about to run out of batteries, so we should probably wrap up.
Indeed.
So we're gonna take a bit of a break.
Oh, wait, is the BrickFeed podcast over? Did I miss it?
Is this a BrickFeed podcast?
Might as well be.
We're talking about stuff related to the convention.
Did the paint dry?
Yeah, I guess.
Did the grass grow?
Yes, I think we're gonna take a break.
Part 2.
All right.
3, 2, 1, sync. Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed that advertisement. I know that we did. Assuming that
hopefully YouTube decided to give you one. Yeah.
That last sync we did just now was like, whoa.
Because you've never heard that without lag, right?
Powers.
I've always heard it with lag.
Sure,
okay, but like, yeah, no.
Because this one's better.
Wow.
This one
is better.
Really
that was my sync. That's why.
Exactly.
You have a really good sync.
I have the best sync. That's why I'm the one that does it.
Bathtubs, toilets,
yeah. Only
refrigerators.
Only other a loser could even attempt to try and do my sync better than me.
It's true.
You guys hear that sound? It's like
something in the distance.
It's something in the distance coming from
the. You guys left the window open.
Yeah, I guess it's just the sound of the breeze coming through the window.
If you guys hadn't noticed, we have our third beholder of the one chair in the corner here. We're sitting here with Var.
Or maybe it's one person with some really good makeup.
Yeah, Var's here.
Var's here.
Var.
He's
Found Var.
Hello.
I'm so excited.
We found Var.
It's not Prpl.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
it's quite the difference.
I almost couldn't tell
What happened?
dude.
Well, I decided it was tough being a dragon, and also tough being purple.
You just took on a new form.
Yeah,
that's
Exactly.
cool.
I like a
Dreamanic
Dreamanic.
one.
It's like
I'm a
Super Saiyan
shifter.
4.
I can.
Read the comics.
I can continue this joke.
No. Let's put this in now. Okay.
You had something that you wanted to talk about briefly, right?
Earlier, I've been pretty much boasting about because I'm eating so many people at this con.
You've been eating so many people,
Dude, that's crazy. You're like such a skinny guy. How are you been able to fit
so
them?
many people.
Oh yeah, where's that go?
Everyone's gotten
He
a
just
bunch
poops
of
them
free
out
stuff.
immediately.
And Ben is a pretty big fan of free stuff, so I thought I'd give him one of these, which is a not ever produced Brick Arms Spanker, I think it's called.
Really?
Yeah,
the rocket
It's the
launcher.
Halo
those are
rocket
the
launcher.
That's freaking rocket
that's
launcher.
a dual molded rocket launcher. It's molded
Incredible.
2 times because of the metal bars inside, and it because of its complicated molding process, it was never made into production. So it's you can't buy it. And
That
can I see that real
that's
quick?
awesome.
I just want to point it towards the camera.
Okay,
Maybe a nice
here,
little,
show
nice
the
little close up. Yeah, just gonna. You guys keep talking.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Thank you, dude.
Man,
Thank you so
that
much.
free stuff.
This is like the big thing about these conventions, that they're like giving out this stuff that they would just throw away, or like for specific event stuff, and it's cool
Check out this
to get
cool
some of that
rocket.
stuff, man. And I was kind of inspired by some YouTube videos that we saw.
It didn't work. It didn't work. I tried. It was just a blurry mess.
Yeah. And so
Fortunately, we can just cut to cut to them while you're in front of that camera.
Oh, I see why you were asking me earlier
Yeah,
about the
you see
EXO
that now?
hand. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Because it needs to be. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, dude.
You're welcome,
I really
dude.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
like,
I-
wow. No, you know, it's funny. Some people have been really kind to me with this BrickFair. Other people, not so much. But like,
Just had to get that out there.
this.
Oh!
Okay, I'm gonna give a
That's
shout
some
out.
good stuff right
I'm gonna give
there.
a shout out right now to Jet Indy.
Thank you so much.
You are a real one, dude. Thank you so much for this.
We had some great people help us out. Weekends Legacy took some video when we were there at the con. Also, Avoca
Yeah, that
Tamer.
guy was very cool.
Avoca Tamer did so well with
Our editor of Tamer, audio editor for
He's
BrickFeed.
been doing
It was really awesome. Like
He was a great camera.
he was a great
Yeah,
camera. I'm
very
so
good
glad he was
camera.
there because like I was running from my head. Like I want to get footage with the actual camera, right? I want us to get like high quality footage of us doing this, but I don't trust anybody that's not us with this equipment.
Right.
And AT was the only person I was there like, hey, you know, like he doesn't like, you know, he's not like a huge person about being on the podcast or anything. He said before he's not like, you know, super comfortable. It was totally fine. But like just knowing someone that like I could trust with that equipment, it was such a relief.
Yeah, man.
Honestly.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. Thanks.
Really good job.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people that showed up at the convention too. So it was nice that there were so many fans that not only wanted to take pictures with us, but were also willing to take pictures for us as well.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Kevin
crowd.
Hinkle took a photo for us.
Kevin
That
Hinkle.
was rad.
Kevin Hinkle did take a
did.
photo. That's
I'm
very
really
funny.
happy how everyone was. They all kind of just formed like a half circle.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like almost like a line, but everyone waited their turn. Everyone was really
Yeah, it
gracious
was
and patient.
surprisingly orderly,
Yeah.
considering it's just a bunch of random fans gathering
Yeah.
around to talk to. Yeah.
There are,
Ideal setup because we were blocking a hallway. But
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we were blocking a corner of a hallway that I feel like there was still room to get around us. It wasn't like last year where we were like literally like there was a line that was like a literal blockade
that
in the
was
middle
in the
of
that was in the middle of the
Yeah.
hallway.
And it
And
was
the hallway was a lot
more
shorter.
narrow.
It was
Yeah.
narrow. There's no way to get by. In fact, the spacing of this convention's been so much better too.
Honestly, yeah.
It's been a lot easier to walk around in. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or if there's just less stuff here.
That's what I was
feel like
thinking.
there's
I'm
less
not
stuff here
sure
this year.
either. I feel the same way. I feel like there is less stuff.
Right. It was a thing that like I felt it was less crowded.
Yeah.
And definitely. And I'm not sure if that's because the spacing the layout was just so much better this year because they changed everything, or if if there's less people or less vendors or less exhibits and that kind of thing.
right.
But BrickFair Virginia, it's still the biggest in the U.S.
It is still the biggest. It was definitely interesting. It felt like there was less stuff in the convention and more room to spread out, but it was good for us.
way better for us. Way better
And then
for
the
us.
mocks that we saw this year were really
The BIONICLE
cool,
section
too.
was huge this year. We literally had last time we just had the corner. This one we had the corner and also a space like a square in the center as well.
And that's where we were located. And then we had Shadow Gear located there, and he had an amazing display.
Great display.
And the
Transformers,
Transformers
amazing.
was
That thing was amazing. Okay, that's the one thing I will definitely give this BrickFair over last year's. The mocks this year were absolutely incredible. Very
Incredible.
Really
Heard-
fun seeing all this incredibly big, spectacular stuff up
Yeah, like
close.
you remember the big the battleship that we saw that was in the middle of the
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
that thing.
That was
Wow.
so
Amazing.
cool.
that was the
so cool.
Brickmania guys that made that.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Kevin actually took a photo of him.
Yeah, he did.
He put some footage.
That's cool, dude.
That's
really
so
awesome.
that's where their money goes, dude.
No kidding. Holy cow.
It was interesting though because like despite the convention being pretty easy to walk through and easy to locate things, the one thing we couldn't locate very often was
certain little
certain little
Norway
man
boy
named Trooper here. Perpetually lost at all times, every time. I swear, dude. keeping in contact with you was some of the hardest.
I think
stuff.
I said, "Where's X?" like more time, and I haven't said anything
at this point.
Yeah, because like none of the phone numbers work. Like sometimes I can call LJ, and then sometimes he can call me, and I have no internet. And so,
why don't you call the rest of us? What's wrong with us?
I don't know. I literally can't. Like,
you did call me at one point, and I think the reception in the convention was just really bad because like I answered the phone and it was like silence, and then I heard like gibberish, and then more silence, and it was like, and that's how it sounded. I'm like, maybe go to the Bionicle corner.
You're so tall. Really easy to lose.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I went to some pretty spooky places.
Yeah,
these people that I have known and talked to over 8 years, they were incredibly insistent on me tagging along for a lot of things because usually I am pretty good.
You're a very popular man.
Yeah, usually I am like I'm my own man, pretty good. But like some of these guys, I mean. Some of these were like military army guys. I've never talked to someone in the military ever, and most of the conversation went. So what are you doing? Oh, I'm just a podcast, and they're like, no, you're staying with us. I'm like, are you sure I should? No, you're staying with us. And it's just, and so there was
you've got a lot of friends.
I have talked to so many people. And so many I just never thought of in years.
It's so crazy because it's very evident that we are very much out of our element compared to you.
Yeah,
like really, we have our little corner in the convention, but X was just
you knew so many people in the community. That was like
for the first 2 days, I literally like just walked around. I would try to walk around. I physically could not walk around the convention because I would walk a little bit. I would get stopped by someone, talk to them for a little bit, and then walk some more. And I would just stop by some other people who was...
It was pretty cool.
Go ahead.
I mean, I was walking around with him after we went to Red Robin and stuff, and like we'd just be walking around, and people come up and they're like, "Hey, Snader," or whatever, like, "What's up?" And like he'd introduce me to them. Like, holy cow, I met like a bunch of people just walking around. They're like, "This is my friend Invi. Yeah, we do like the podcast together and stuff." I'm like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Justin. I don't really want to call myself Invi, whatever."
Yeah, right, exactly.
I honestly wasn't expecting this. I knew there was like a couple of guys from Flickr that was going to be there that I was going to meet, but like I had no idea that I was going to be very social man.
Well, I mean, essentially, they had just a Bionicle convention. That would be the exact same experience for us. Right? We know these people in the community. We know this, and so that's what you're doing.
Smaller though,
right? Way smaller, and that's why, like right now, you go to BrickFair and you're this connected. You know all these people, and you do this thing. I'm really happy you're able to come.
One thing I do like about it is that it because like I feel like there's always a concern whenever you have like a YouTube channel that like will you hit the ceiling of what you have here, and I feel like last year we definitely felt like we were like
we hit the ceiling.
We felt like we not necessarily hit the ceiling, but we definitely felt like that like brief taste of fame, I guess you can kind of have. But like it's nice to know that even in our world where we're big, we're still pretty small, and that there's still room to grow. I think that's really cool. There's a ceiling there that we haven't tapped into yet.
Well, I felt like last year I was like, I think we've hit the ceiling for Bionicle. That's why I felt last year. When Bionicle got canceled,
for sure.
We were there and we got all the. I was like, you know what? I think we're the biggest Bionicle channel. We've hit that ceiling for Bionicle, and now we're kind of transitioning the system. And it's really good to see how high that ceiling is. That's what's so exciting to me.
There's, I mean, if we hit that system audience, then we're going to be pretty busy at these cons.
Right, pretty busy. That's what I'd love to make that happen.
And I will say before we branch out that like I will have to say that all these people that I met, if any of them actually like end up watching this, they are some of the nicest guys I've ever met. A lot of them, they felt like old friends, and we just went out to eat, and it was an amazing time. It was so fun coming to America. I have no words. Basically, they know who they are. The guys I'm talking about. I will say that Cody's probably the coolest guy I've ever met.
Okay. I remember Cody.
Yeah, he was the big guy that
it's like we're looking for
grabbed you
on the first day, and we're looking around. We see behind a table with this guy like slunched in his chair. He's like, "Oh, let's go in and introduce ourselves." Hey, I'm Eljay.
He is a giant.
He's a big dude.
Wow. he so many.
He is a muscle.
He is 90% muscle.
I think he could bench press his
He could
podcast.
probably
could
kill
just-
me with a little thing.
Right.
I just like so many times he just like people going like this and they're like, yeah, buddy, like he would do that and then I would just be on for a ride. There's nothing I could do to stop
that
it.
happened because we were talking.
Yes, I could literally not stop that from happening.
You showed up. This guy comes around with his beefy arm, his shoulder leg.
Yeah.
And just grabs it.
Swoops me out of the scene. Like almost up or
His
some
arm
stuff.
is a leg. He basically kneed you with his
Like if we wanted to save you, there would be nothing we could do.
He plays soccer with his arms. Probably just punches the ball.
A constant handstand, just running around on his arms.
Cody made this. He made the con an experience, to say the least.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
Time.
I imagine if we ever got to hang out with that dude, it would be like it would be.
I imagine if I ever got to hang out with that dude, I would be lost.
No, I would. It would be like standing next to like another species, essentially,
Right,
just like a giant.
You guys are like the alpha team of the convention. It seemed
right.
it was pretty entertaining.
The military guys are a bit of like a dying breed right now. They used to be a lot more popular. I think World War II is getting more popular. They are getting like smaller and smaller.
Yes.
So
World War II is definitely popular nowadays.
no, but like we're as the theme. On the convention.
You mean like the minifigure?
Yeah, if you watch the display between the military and then you watch the display between the World War II, I mean, if you could see the
Historical
difference.
stuff, right?
There
Yeah.
were some fantastic military creations I saw.
Right?
I
I
love
was looking at a lot of that stuff too, like the recreations of jets that were like really huge.
And I had my favorite jet. There was a helicopter where both of the propellers were spinning.
It was really interesting to me to see like the attention to detail. Like I don't know necessarily what like how accurate these models are. I can tell that they're accurate. Like
You can tell love was put into them.
A lot of like attention was paid to them to the point where I'm like, if someone's paying this much attention to whatever they're building, they know a lot about it.
Yeah,
they have to.
absolutely.
You know, and that passion. I like to again still see that even if I don't know what it is.
Did you guys see that Iron Golem? No,
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
I recorded that.
It was so cool. I have no clue how that thing works, but that was watching it turn around. I was like, how though?
I have no idea.
So how do they keep it together?
Yeah.
Very carefully.
I'm glad I got that.
Crazy,
thing on
man.
video 'cause,
Oh,
wow,
yeah,
that
dude.
thing-
I thought it was interesting that like a lot of people were still so like it seems like new things popped up every day, but even on the public day like that the Iron Giant statue was
Yeah.
That was not there.
Yeah.
It was not there.
So they somehow got that in there last minute, and it was a big creation too.
There was a drum set made out of Lego. Like,
Dude,
I
that
was
drum set's
saying
cool.
that like my favorite Lego creations are things that don't look like they're made out of Lego until
Yeah.
you take a look at them. You're like, whoa, that's actually
Yeah,
really
we were
good.
I
talking
didn't realize
about-
that was Lego at first, like that drum set.
Yeah, we were talking to Kevin
I
Hinkle
pointed
about
it
that a
out to
little
some of
bit.
the guys, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "No, it's a Lego drum set."
I had to take a good look.
I honestly, even after I looked at it and I was like, the little sign said it's made of Lego. It took me a second before.
No,
I even-
100%. I was
like, I
reading
had
it.
to look at it very closely and like look into the interior and try to spot where the Lego was. And I'm like, oh. Wow, the whole thing
really
is
clear.
Lego. What the heck? It was so well built. I couldn't even tell. Couldn't even tell.
Really
it was
good.
crazy.
Really good.
That is definitely my favorite kinds of MOCs. There was also like some of the mech MOCs.
The mechs are
those are my
good.
personal
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah,
I
no, we
really
were
like.
walking past that section. You were just gushing.
I
about
was
it.
gushing, man. I love those mech
I
stuff.
don't know, man. I think we had the best mech there.
Our mech was okay. That's true.
We did build Silver.
Project. Can we hold him up?
He's kind of in pieces at the moment, but you can hold him up.
In pieces.
Excuse that.
We've been. Sven had this stupid idea very early on in BrickFair, and he's like, "We should remake Silver," which is a MOC that I had created when I was a kid for a contest in BZ Power.
And you won that contest.
I did win the contest, surprisingly enough. Don't know why, but I did. Lego had actually endorsed that contest. They were the ones that kind of set it up. They paid me for the MOC, which was the prize, obviously, and I also got a Titan Matanui like set at the time, which was the very first one. Yeah, it was really cool. Anyway, that MOC was on the Hero Factory TV show. It was a giant villain. For those who don't know, I'm sure there are fans out there who know this story.
Wait, you made that?
Yeah, the giant silver MOC.
The
yeah,
giant the drone.
the drone.
Have you not heard this?
I know about this. I just didn't know it was VAR.
That was me. That was my mom.
That is insane.
But here's the crazy thing about
Right.
He sends in the mock so they could put it on the show and all that.
Yeah, I remember watching that on Hero Factory.
They offered him like to name any price that he wanted because they were essentially buying the mock off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He names $500, right?
Right, and they follow through with it. They send me a check for $500 for the mock, and me being, I think I was 12 at this point. Like I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on. So like, I don't think my mom really believed that I was just given $500 in the mail from some like Lego corporate company in Denmark. I think she thought it was a whole scam. But anyway, so I got a check for $500. My mom goes to the bank to cash it in. They would not cash it because in Denmark the date is backwards.
Oh, no!
Yeah, so on the check, they were like, "I'm sorry, this date's not valid. This date's already passed," and they wouldn't let her cash it.
God.
So I think that if she had just explained to them like, "Oh, it's it's a foreign check, the date's backwards. It's from Lego," that would have.
Actually, it's you guys that are backwards. But yeah, go on.
It is us.
It is actually us. No. It's us.
It literally
It's us.
is.
No, it totally is.
It doesn't matter who's backwards.
Yeah,
the
but,
point is the check's date was
The
different.
point is, I lost $500.
Yeah, the point is that I didn't get paid my money.
You didn't get anything?
Yeah.
I never got my
never
money.
got any
And
money.
since-
Lost
Did you
the mock.
contact them again or anything?
No, because I was a kid, I'm like, I don't like. I was too like, it's Lego. I don't want to bother them or anything.
You did contact them several times after, but that just kind of didn't go anywhere. I don't think I did. Kelly McKernan?
I don't think I contacted them afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
I mean, after a while, but I just never followed up with it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just once the check didn't go through, and my mom very clearly didn't think this was a legitimate thing, and she wasn't really supporting the whole idea anyway. It was just one of those things where I don't feel like bothering Lego, don't feel like pestering my mom. It's just it doesn't matter.
And you're a kid too. When you don't have that perspective, right now you're like, no, I'm gonna go to the bank. I'm gonna get my money.
Right, I want my
Right, exactly.
$500. For me, it's just
Now, yeah, back then it was a totally thing. But I do find it interesting that Lego give you a blank check. Essentially, they were like, just name your price, and you're like, $500.
Was that the highest thing you could think of?
yeah.
Just
Well,
that
at the time, because at the time I wanted an Xbox 360. This was so long ago.
Wow.
So I just $500. That'll get me a 360 plus some extra 100 to spare. So that's why I named that price.
I feel starstruck.
Would you
being
feel?
with Ball right now?
Do you think if you had named a higher price, they might have said no? Like if you said $2,000, would they be like, "Oh, okay"?
I've thought about this before actually, because it's what if because at the time I think they know I'm a kid, right? They know I'm some kid on the internet, so you name your price, and kids they don't quite have perspective on money. Once you get a job, money is suddenly whoa,
Yeah, but as a kid-
$2,000, whatever.
As a kid, $50.
$50 is a lot, right?
So much.
Yeah, $50? No way.
Yeah.
I remember listening to the Radio Disney or whatever, and they were like, "We're gonna do a competition where we're gonna give kids our first place prize winner $100." And yeah, I was like, "What?
Right.
$100?"
What would you do with that money? I have no idea. What could I even want to buy?
Oh my god, the Lego! Anyway,
Just
so I like to think that at the time when they said name your price, they were like, name your price with a smug face. They're like, it's gonna be $100 or something. I like to imagine as a kid, what if I just said $3,000, and then Bink would have been like, "Oh God, my job is gone. I'm out of a job. No."
We're gonna do this promotional thing. It's gonna cost you $3,000 for
Don't worry,
cameo.
Lego. I got this.
I got
Name
this.
your price, kid. Oh no! I didn't have it. Yeah. So,
Pay cut
but
for a
yeah,
month.
that is the story of Silver. Anyway.
We replicated it.
Anyway, yeah.
Back to his
Long story short was that Vin wanted to do he wanted to
I
remake
wanted
it.
to recreate the mock, but then when we actually got to it, we were like, you know what? Let's let's make Silver 2.0.
Yeah.
Let's like redesign the MOC completely.
How did you even like come to the conclusion that like we're gonna make Silver? Like why?
Vince, sentimental dummy. That's all.
Yeah, we
Like, there's this annoying thing about
No,
it.
listen, we were talking about
Everybody is so sentimental. They care.
It's not just that.
They care about the past too much. Everybody wants to watch our old videos and like build
Good
our
guys, just watch TTV THM again.
Listen,
For the 50 millionth
It's
time.
because we were in call talking about what we were gonna do at BrickFair, and then we were talking about like, oh, you know, we built the Makuta model last year. We should build something else this year. We were like, let's build a MOC, and I was like, let's build Silver or no. No, it didn't come out of nowhere. Actually, I think somebody brought it up a little bit after we were talking about the what we should build. I forget what the context was, but then I was like, we should build Silver at BrickFair. And then I thought about it, and I was like, let's actually do that. I'm going to bring some parts, and we're going to do this. So I gathered together.
I was like, you're a lunatic. That's never going to happen.
I was like, listen, man, I'm going to go through my collection right now. I'm going to look at pictures of Silver. I'm going to get like every piece I can find that will make this MOC work. And so I bring this bag.
He brings back the parts.
And I went to the first day that we were at the convention. I bought some parts there too. Added that to the pile, and then we got started. And
I kind of wish Meso hadn't revealed the MOC yet, because it's like we should be building it up as we're talking about it. But oh well.
All right, cut that out.
Figure it out.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It's okay.
So yeah, bought an extra bag. We started building the MOC. And then we made significant progress. We got to a point where we built like the body, the head, we built one leg, but we needed more parts to build the other one because the MOC was just getting so complex.
Tragic turn or a twisted turn. BrickFair parts vendors.
Oh, no, he's saying that's a dark turn because this son of a gun has a problem with addiction.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
Power corrupts? No.
I don't recall anything bad coming out of this, but it wasn't bad for us. It was he'll tell his story in a
The next
second.
day, we went and got more parts for Silver, but Meso didn't just do that.
I bought a bag to help you guys, and then I found...
You helped yourself.
It's a long, tragic tale. Short version, there was a rare part, and it baffled me how many there was of that part. So
You got a full bag.
I made it my mission to get every single type of that part that I could. I got over 100 of them. For those who don't know what part it is.
Is it the?
It is.
They're not even that rare, dude.
There's not even that
They're
rare.
not even there. I don't honestly, I don't think they're rare
I
at
don't
all.
think they're rare, like, at all.
I know. 3 cents.
No,
That's-
okay.
That's two
I
more.
can't.
Than it would be
Okay.
if it was.
I love how at the beginning he was like, power corrupts, as if he was like the wise ruler who just had this taken away from him, as opposed to a drug addict. Dude, I know this guy who's like, he's smoking weed, he's like, dude, you're like, power corrupts, man. I'm just, that's exactly what he's just addicted to buying stupid stuff. Power corrupts. Don't try to turn this some noble thing. You wasted your money. That's what happened. There's no power in this.
Meso, didn't you buy those
There's nothing.
purple feathers as well?
Those two, but that's like just whatever. I got it cheaper. I spent $10 on those. I got those for fun. Free on the bag. Just pour it off.
Let me see it. Look at this. It's just, it's like their wings. Like, what is this?
They're not. Why?
Came from Chima
Aaron or something?
Chima Mixels had them a lot. He got a whole bag of them. I don't know what you're ever going to use these for.
I'll give him the purple, dude.
What's purple? Purple's not a mock,
dude.
She's not.
She does minor mocking. She's like the same kind of mock as like I am. You know.
It's gonna spark your creativity, dude.
Meso, I was gonna say though, that decision to buy those fins, that was very raw from the jaw. Just impulsive.
I mean, to be fair, I also got a bag full of like the same part, but I like immediately knew exactly what I was going to use it for.
Yeah.
When I got it, so
I figured Meso was the same way.
Bet my fins did.
No, what are you gonna? No.
Are you referring to
these for?
yeah, the green
Was
like
that the thing I did with it? Was that exactly what you were going to use it for?
What did you do?
No,
with those?
he's thinking of the Vaki heads. You actually
Oh,
bought the green.
Vaki. Well, yes, actually, yes. I did get a lot of Vaki heads, and X did like combine them all together and like kind of make like a snake thing. That was literally exactly what I was going to use them for. Yeah, there we go. Let me see that. Yeah, so like I bought a bunch of Vaki heads, and I think that looks really cool. And I'm going to use that for something for sure.
Really satisfying.
I actually kind of wish I got more, because like I could make that would make a great tail to a giant dragon mock right there.
You can only see it, but you can't feel it. But like the doing it like that, it feels really good. Like it's very satisfying. They go together really well, and there's like a little bit of like
Very hypnotizing.
We'll call it the fidget tail.
Fidget tail.
fidget tail.
Just be doing that the entire podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just
So, that's
let's
probably
just
gonna
take
be
away the
annoying.
Lego.
But yeah, so
altogether.
like I got a bunch of parts too, but I knew exactly what I wanted to use them for.
Right.
So.
You guys had a vision with still.
Yeah, as opposed
Yeah,
to just
and-
impulse addiction. You know?
Yeah, I didn't just see
it
one
was
part. I was
crazy
like, "There's a
because,
lot of
like,
this
It's
part.
funny.
I guess I'll just get
It's
that."
funny because like had Meso made an impulse buy of something that was ridiculously expensive but still like custom. He bought like I don't know, some stupid like skull minifigure that was like $100. I'd be like, that's stupid. But it still makes more sense than buying a nonsensical thing for this like just a giant bag of nothing.
Is I bought it has one connection point and it's an axle. It has no other connection point.
It's literally a useless. It's useless.
No, yes. It's not a pinhole. Test it.
No, look.
Test it.
No.
It's not.
Test it.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
That's not it, dude.
There's a different part.
Yeah.
It's bad. But I like the piece. I like how it looks.
It's completely useless.
Can you get that to me? Can I get that? Could I get that, man? Could you get?
Hold on. He has to sanitize it.
Oh, why?
Yeah, because LJ's sick.
He's over there like coughing out the lung.
There
You
we
better
go.
sanitize my blanket.
Speaking of which, I am feeling a sore throat coming on, so I hate everybody here. Is essentially what I am feeling right now.
Same, dude.
You feel a sore throat coming on?
Sterilize my hands.
No,
Or you
I
just
just
hate- you
like,
just hate everybody
like
here.
saying
Okay.
the word same.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right,
I just
right,
hate
right.
everybody too.
I just want to give John $100.
No.
Not saying.
Okay, that's where
Still
we're
planning on
going.
fixing my air conditioning in my car, X?
You know what's
I
funny, man?
would, but that was before I accidentally used $90 on Citizen Break.
yeah.
Hold on, what?
How'd you accidentally pull that off?
Well, because the thing with Citizen Brick is that like I just wanted a couple like novelty stuff, but like the really small stuff, and like you had like a cup there, and you'd like put a little thing. I saw that, put it in. And then like at the end where I was gonna pay, I was like, oh, that's a little bit. Maybe that'll be like max $50 or something at most. And then he says it was $90. And that was literally it. But like it was cool stuff, and there was a lot of weapons for like my factions and stuff. So I'm pretty happy with my purchases. I will say that.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear it was all worth it. Things are cheaper for you here.
Everything's a lot cheaper. The dollar is worth very little at the moment compared to Norwegian coast. And there's also the thing with the different prices in and of itself. So
Our battery is now exhausted in our alternate camera because we are not great at preparing. So unfortunately, you won't be able to see X at the moment, everybody.
Aw, well, you can hear me, so
Or J. Or Mange.
if you close your eyes,
If you close your
and you
eyes and focus on the
concentrate-
audio
Concentrate.
podcast.
Really
you can,
hard.
then you can see me in front of you.
How long?
Just wheel the camera stand and move it around.
You could whip out an iPhone if you wanted to.
I'll do it.
How long have we been recording for, actually?
32 minutes.
32 minutes? That's an hour and 32. Yeah, we should start wrapping.
All right.
Yeah, and plus you don't want to miss this beautiful face. So
Yeah, exactly. Too long, you know. No.
The only thing I would have to add is that for those fans who liked the Fly story last year, there was an encore.
You can find that one on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff on Twitter. I regret the full interaction wasn't captured, but it was the other's interpretation of it was very funny. There was a moth, and I hate moths really bad. So I tried to kill it midair, and apparently I did a really funny jump.
No, I mean a funny jump
really
is not.
It wasn't a jump. It was like you did you swatted at the moth, but it was in the most cartoonish style ever.
It was
like
a leap.
no, like he like lifted. It was like if you went to animation school.
Exactly.
Like, they're like, all right, now you got to make sure you lead your
It was
animations,
like
right?
a Captain Underpants flip-a-rama.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like he had the full like leg motion and everything. It was like, it was so ridiculous.
He curved up and then like immediately snapped back down, like in the most outrageous way possible.
There's this hilarious thing with cartoons, right, where there's like in between animations, right? Overwatch does this, for instance.
I know
where,
what you mean, the stretching.
Stretching,
stretch out
squishing,
and like
right,
look
right,
kind
right.
of. They're not meant to be frozen on one frame. It's meant to sort of give the animation more of a fluid look. That's what Meso was, though. He was that in between frame.
I don't know how he did it.
Did that?
I literally don't know. I literally saw a living cartoon
and just did. It was a living cartoon.
Granted, I did hit it midair.
He did hit it.
He did hit it.
He did hit the moth.
I went ham on it.
Did he die?
He did hit it. He killed. Yeah, he killed that moth. He murdered the heck out of
It's
it.
not even a joke or a bit. Like, I hate moths. They freak me out. I had to.
Why?
I don't know, dude. It's just like
They just
they
freak him
flutter
out
at random.
apparently.
They're really big and they're
Spazzy.
like so,
Yeah.
so like I can never know what they're gonna do next, and like I can't handle that unpredictability in my life. Like I have enough of it myself.
I get spiders. I don't agree with, but I understand snakes. But moths.
I bet there's
And it
moth
wasn't
phobia.
even that wasn't even it either. You hit the thing and then it wasn't enough. You hit it again and again and again and
Another
again and
one.
again and again.
Another
And
I
it
get
was
that
like,
thing a lot.
oh
Because
my
the first time I
gosh.
chopped off a wing, and then it wasn't dead. It was crawling around. So like I had to beat it down.
Crawling in my crawl.
Like it was much by the time like I smacked that.
It looked
thing.
like you belonged in Planet of the Apes. You're just
No.
We did see that movie.
We did see that
did
movie.
see that
It was
movie.
an okay movie.
We went.
It was okay.
Good movie.
It was okay. It was slow. I mean, I think you go into that movie expecting a certain kind of movie, but the title alone.
I think the title's
The title's
The
the
title's
worst.
a little
The title
misleading.
is possibly the worst
It's
part of
not
that
really a
movie.
war.
Yeah.
It's not really a war.
Well, I mean, wait,
Yeah,
there is a war.
There is a war,
But
but
it's
it's
just-
not really a war.
Yeah,
It's not a war movie.
Don't you have to.
With
go
that
into
said, there are aspects of it that are very war-like. That first, like the first 10 minutes.
when they do the overhead shot and
man,
the
that was-
multiplying,
that
that
was
was
some
so
good
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Good
10 minutes are really
cinematography.
good.
Really good.
There were 2 action sequences, and normally I'm not the kind of guy who's like, I gotta get my action quota. But it was weird that there was such a lack of it
Laction.
Yeah.
compared to the prior movies, who were very over the top.
Yeah.
It was a good character drama.
It's a very good
Drama
character. Yeah,
of
it's a
age.
character drama. That's what it is. And I feel like if you're going into the movie knowing it's a character drama, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. If you think of it
Or
of
if you
like
apes.
like
if you like
like it was called like Vengeance of the Planet of the Apes, or like what did you say? What was your title?
Survival.
Survival.
Oh, yeah.
Survival of the planet.
Survival of the Planet of the Apes.
I said Survival of
That's
the
probably
Apes.
the best title I could come up with, but just it doesn't have the same oomph as the...
War, no, I got it.
War was a war movie.
Honestly,
Of the Planet
the
of the
one that I think they could have switched it around. I think Dawn could have been called War of the Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn should have been.
Dawn and Rise, they're so similar. There's no reason to say like Rise, Dawn, and War. It just they don't have a thematic thing. If it was
Yeah, there
Rise,
isn't a thematic
then
thing.
Dawn, and then like I don't know, Vengeance, Survival, whatever, or
Just very clever title recap.
That was very
or
clever.
I guess
did like
they
that.
could have done Rise and then War, and this would be Dawn because at the end of the movie,
exactly.
it's essentially the dawn of the Planet of the Apes. They should have just switched those two titles.
Spoilers, everybody.
Yeah,
Spoilers, it leads into the Planet of the Apes.
Spoilers. The
Eventually.
apes take over.
Eventually
it gets
Planet of the
there.
Apes.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video podcast, and be sure to check out our channel if it's still around, and click the subscribe button. We didn't really talk about that actually. We probably should mention this very briefly at least.
This won't be the last time we talk about stuff around BrickFair. There's so much more we need
Yeah,
to
no,
do.
Yeah, we'll have to
but
do-
we do
yeah,
have to
but
mention this real quick.
Let's mention this real
We
quick.
got another copyright strike.
So everybody, if you guys are TLDR fans, sorry, that series is dead. If you've subscribed for that, I really am sorry, but we've gotten 3 strikes from that series alone in 1 year, so that's not going to happen anymore. Anyway, we got a copyright strike for TLDR like a couple weeks ago, right before leading up to BrickFair. So we had 2, and it was quite a terrifying experience. We privated all the TLDR videos. Then we addressed this on BrickFeed, but we also did a news video on some Star Wars sets, and the Lego, radio silent as far as whether that video was a good idea or not. So we decided to put it up because it was out there everywhere already. Then we heard back from Lego, and turns out, we probably didn't want that to
keep
go.
that stuff on the DL.
We didn't want that stuff to go out.
right,
So we're like, all right, we'll take the video down. We'll put it private. and then we got a strike on it anyway.
Well, I want to clarify this real quick too, because we didn't talk about this in BrickFeed. This new information that came from Lego. The guy who's in charge of the RLFMs, Kim Thompson, came out and said, "Hey, because it was a business critical move from our end. One of our retailers essentially leaked it. So it was not wrong for any of these sites to, like Brothers Brick shared it, as a lot of other sites started sharing these images. It was not wrong for you to do so because per our policy that Lego has, those images are free to be talked about in the community. However, because it's such a tight thing with a partner, Disney, of course, Star Wars is a huge deal. This is way business critical. We've sent emails and everything to be able to take it down. Now, Brothers Brick, a blog, is going to get an email saying, please take this article down. They're going to take it down.
We, on the other hand,
get a copyright takedown notice.
We get a strike.
You got a copyright strike.
Which is, I guess, to Lego's legal department, it's the same thing. To YouTube, it's not, though. And for us as a channel, it is not. And now we have 3 strikes. So as of recording this, I believe we only have 4 days left until our channel goes down.
Our channel is deleted from
It's
YouTube.
deleted.
Video, we made it through.
If you see the video, then we made it.
Yeah, if you see this and they're like,
If you don't, you're probably just a page.
no, we don't know.
They don't remove one of the strikes within the 7-day window. Our channel gets deleted.
We've already contacted Lego about it. We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're working on it. So if this video is out there on our channel right now and you're watching it, everything's good. However, we are in very critical mode.
We're like, this is our business critical. If this was
good.
no, listen, in 7 days, the channel is deleted. If you're watching this on the channel with like 200 subscribers, you're like, oh, that's weird.
We did make it.
Yeah, we did make it.
We don't know. I contacted because Kim had came out and said it. I called him. I talked to Kim and he said, call Kim. Called him. He said he'd pass on the legal. So hopefully, because like I said, it was okay for you to do this, just want to take it down.
Right.
Hopefully, just a miscommunication with the legal department. They can take care of it. And if so, that's great.
Hopefully that is.
If not, then our channel is gone.
It was nice knowing
It was nice knowing you guys.
Thank you guys for subscribing.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for showing up.
Once again, hope you guys liked this episode of TTV Podcast if it ever comes out.
This might be the finale. This might be the last one we do.
The finale that only our patrons will get. So while you're on that note, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/TTV channel, where you can donate to us directly, help us support this channel if there is a channel to support, or watch this video if that's the only platform we'll be able to put this video on. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Var.
I'm Eljay.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Ben.
I'm Tenebrae Invictus.
I'm Apex Trooper. I'm gonna go cry now.
I am Meso.
Oh, dude, I had a panic attack. Like as soon as it happened, like no joke, I was freaking out in the car on the drive over. Like I sped out to the convention.
It's pretty crazy.
I was like, it was crazy.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
See you guys.
The TTV channel was never seen again.
And that was the last we saw the TTV channel.
And so rose Unity Cast.